So I recognize there is a difference between subtracting things from your life that don't serve you and serious addiction issues. This post, we're going to talk about how subtraction can lead to addition. Not in that context, though, not in the addiction context. All right, that's a little bit above my pay grade. But just in the, you're trying to cut back on this or that situation, and even contexts that don't have to do with like personal life habits, how subtraction can be a form of addition. And we struggle with this to grasp the idea that less is more. We think that adding something is the best solution. But what if the key to addition lies in subtraction? Whether it's cutting down on sugar, reducing paperwork, or eliminating distractions, subtraction can add more fulfillment, peace, and other net positives. Can subtraction be a true addition? What mental hurdles come with initially subtractive but ultimately additive solutions? And how can awareness of those hurdles help us all grow? Welcome to my channel. I don't know what my channel is other than a giant experiment. This is actually a blog post that I had wrote, but wanted to post it for my non-reading audience and experiment with releasing it through vocal form. We're going to get into all of those questions that I just posed and a little bit more, and I'll be happy to know your thoughts at the end of it, as well as what might need to be subtracted from this video to include its quality. We're going to get the consumption of the information, and I'm going to challenge the application of the information as well by inviting you to basically troll me up in the comments section. All right, let's get into it. We almost all would prefer to do an addition problem rather than a subtraction problem, even though the underlying math is really not any more difficult one way or the other. As a warm-up exercise in my shop class, I teach industrial arts to grades 6 through 12. And I have a slide I project with a bunch of measuring challenges ranging in difficulty because I'm teaching across 6 different grade levels. So it's differentiated super well. And students can pick what problem they want to warm up with. And it doesn't matter if I put common denominators or more familiar fractions on the subtraction option. Students almost always choose the addition option. And that's not a student exclusive thing. I mean, I think a group of adults would do the same thing. We avoid the subtraction for some reason, and it's not just mathematically. There's a phenomenon called loss aversion, right? And this phenomenon of behavioral economics states that we are more motivated to avoid losses than we are to seek gains. And this happens way more often than we care to admit. This is why we order our regular when we go to a restaurant, especially a restaurant with a well-known reputation for having great dishes. We still order the regular because we don't want to lose the known positive experience in exchange for the uncertainty of another experience, which is probably just as likely, if not more likely, to be higher quality than our regular. We underestimate the benefits of gain, and we overestimate the consequences of loss. Essentially, to put it simply, we struggle with loss much more than we enjoy gain. The loss has a higher emotional magnitude than gain does. And so, in regards to personal decision making and subtracting bad habits from our life, we're dealt kind of a couple of crummy cards. The terminology of I'm giving this up, I'm quitting smoking, I'm getting rid of whatever. They're all reminders that we're partaking in the act of subtracting something, as explained, that our brains struggle to wrestle with. And so on top of that, the act subjects itself easily to a perception influenced by negativity bias, another mental phenomenon, which is similar to loss aversion, but it's where when negative events such as giving something up are just perceived as more consequential to our life, more impactful than the positive event can be, healthier, wealthier, etc. And if you think you're immune from negativity bias or loss aversion infiltrating your problem-solving ability, that is likely indicative that you're more prone to these ways of thinking and problem solving. And so to overcome the mental hurdles of loss aversion, negativity bias, and to liberate ourselves from bad habits and improve different areas of our life, we have to frame the subtraction as an addition. We have loss avoidance working against us. We have negativity bias. So we have to really, really lean into the positives. Let's get ourselves to a point where we don't feel deprived, which would help to lock in an extremely uninspiring perspective. And we must see that subtraction as the addition of more peace, the addition of more bills in your wallet, the addition of more pride in your integrity. So as examples, I subtracted TikTok from my phone. I still use TikTok, but on my daily driver phone, no. Subtracted it. Added clarity to my headspace, added control of my time, and added a boost in positive emotions, as well as a break from negative ones. Similarly, subtracting coffee and alcohol has resulted in adding regulated energy, improved health, more money. I had a guitar that I never played. It was a graduation gift. And I knew how to play guitar. I could play guitar. I could kind of perform for you. But at the end of the day, I really just didn't like playing guitar. But I was never honest with myself about that. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if I felt pressured because I started as a teenager. My parents bought me, a guitar for Christmas and a guitar for graduation. Or I don't have a musical outlet right now, and I didn't then. And I do kind of miss that. So I don't know if it was my only musical outlet. And so I was hanging on to it. But at the end of the day, I just hated the way it made my fingers feel. I really didn't enjoy performing guitar for other people, and I really almost didn't even enjoy having it in my living room because it was kind of this trophy of failure and repeated flopping. And I remember thinking like, shoot, I'm at the point where I'm like 10 years into guitar playing maybe, and I really have pretty much nothing to show for it. And so I held that guitar in my hand. I asked myself that stupid question that comes from Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, right? Does it spark joy? And it did not. It just kind of annoyed me. And there's almost like a little bit of shame and just like annoyance is the best way to put it. Because I didn't really feel shameful or guilty for not wanting to pursue it. I just was like, I have this nice guitar and it annoys me that I can't like put it to use. So I gave it to someone who could. Or sold it, I can't remember exactly, but I got rid of it. I subtracted it from my life, and in doing so, I added, it was kind of crazy, my appreciation for music and musicians skyrocketed. It's like people sometimes explain the psychedelic experience of enjoying music, like it was almost a level of that effect. That remains with me to this day as like a maybe type of intellect that I just I don't immediately have access to, and it's kind of fascinating as an observer to see this intellect unfold. And it added a bit of real estate to a crowded living room, and it added increased focus to things that really do bring me joy. And so as an educator and a designer, I kind of frequently reference this takeaway of subtraction as addition. One, when it comes to offering students choice. It's a very, very best practice in a way to offer students choice that, especially if it can align to their strengths and their interests. But a lot of us have made the mistake, myself included, of offering our students too much choice. It leads to a level of choice paralysis and apathy. And we've all experienced this as well, just standing in the toothpaste aisle at the supermarket. And so, just as another example of where subtraction is addition, you subtract some of the choices so that you can add some momentum. And another takeaway about this has to do with feedback. You would think more feedback leads to more growth, but you're going to overwhelm and probably discourage your students if you are giving them feedback on every single possible thing. It's best to pick the one thing. Less is more, because then they can focus on improving that one thing instead of getting 50 things to focus on, or 15, or even 5, and having no focus to improve any one of those things. Plus, it'll make your grading life a little bit easier. So, that is my viewpoints on subtraction as addition. This channel, Jack of All Learning's channel, is a giant experiment. I do put different activity on TikTok and Instagram, so feel free to follow those or check those out. And let me know what could be subtracted from this video or any of my social media content in order to improve it. And thank you for watching this video all the way through. I'm happy to engage with any of my community members, so feel free to message me and I hope you will enjoy your YouTubing. Happy YouTubing.